Hi everyone, it's Vesper. Kinda sorta long time no see. Sorry about that. Lately, all of the videos on this channel have been related to gender and hormones, and while there's nothing wrong with that, I've gotten kind of tired of talking about these things because there are so many other things that I want to be talking about, to the point that I don't even know where to start with it all. But I guess I'll start here. I don't identify as biromantic or panromantic anymore. There, I said it. I haven't identified as biromantic or panromantic for quite a while now, actually. That's the thing. I have been relatively open about this on Tumblr, but when it comes to YouTube, I have not mentioned it at all. I have not even hinted at the fact that I've been questioning for years now, honestly. And there's a lot involved with that, a lot. But today I am going to try and touch upon one of the main reasons why I now identify as a bi-ace rather than a biromantic ace, as a pan-ace rather than a panromantic ace, and what the difference between these things are for me, and why more than anything I'm most apt to introduce myself as a queer ace, or just simply queer. Okay, so now let's backtrack. Since day one of this channel back in 2013, I have identified openly as both biromantic and panromantic and asexual. For those of you who are unfamiliar with any of these terms, I did make a video a long time ago back in 2013 explaining more in depth the difference between sexual orientation, romantic orientation, etc. And while I don't particularly like that video anymore, I encourage you to watch it if you want to know more about that, because I'm only going to very briefly touch upon what those mean in this video. In brief, there are different ways in which someone may be attracted to someone. It's not just sexual attraction, period. It's more complicated than that. Personally, I identify as asexual because sexual attraction just isn't a thing that I seem to experience towards any gender. On the other hand, I have experienced other forms of attraction that I used to just refer to as romantic attraction towards people of two or more genders, or regardless of gender, any gender. And that is why I have identified as biromantic and panromantic. More on that in yet another old video. Check out the cards for all the old videos that I'm going to be referring you to in this video. You see, it's common within asexual communities to not only have a sexual orientation like asexual, but to also have an explicitly stated romantic orientation like biromantic, aromantic. Contrary to what some people think, this practice of splitting up one's attraction into different types or into different components of one's identity is not some kind of newfandangled modern innovation or something that has come out of Tumblr or the asexual community specifically. And if you're interested in learning more in what we refer to today as the split attraction model, I'll put a link in, hopefully in the cards of this video, but also in the description of this video, so check that out if you want to learn more about that. Now, before I go any further with this video, I want to pause here and say that the split attraction model, as it is commonly referred to today, as it is commonly used within ace communities today, means a lot to me personally. It is no exaggeration to say that the existence of that model and the prevalence of it in ace spaces is literally one of the main reasons why I was finally able to reconcile my experiences with an asexual identity. I found the word asexual at random 10 years prior to even identifying as asexual, and it was thanks to this model that I finally was able to get there. That said, after quietly questioning for more than 2 years whether I was somewhere on the aromantic spectrum in addition to being bi and pan, and having received pushback on numerous occasions from some aro aces on Tumblr whenever I tried to voice my thoughts or opinion on something that apparently is an aromantic issue, whereas meanwhile my profile said biromantic, panromantic, and they felt some kind of way about that. It just slowly became more and more clear to me that, for me personally, the split attraction model that had helped me in the past was now kind of just a hindrance. I grew tired of questioning whether my past experiences with attraction, all three of them, that's not a lot of data to work off of, you know. I got tired of questioning whether those 3 past experiences that I had to reflect back retrospectively on and try and decide, was I experiencing romantic attraction then? Was it platonic? Was it altros? What the hell was it? Over the course of years, I have expended a lot of time and energy into these thoughts and have gotten little to nowhere for it. In fact, I just got more questions like, what the hell is even romance? What is romance? What is platonic? Who gets to decide where the line is between these things? etc. And I just decided to throw my hands up in the air and be like, I'm done with this, what the fuck ever. Which is all fine and dandy, of course, but I still wanted to hold on to my bi-identity, pan-identity, because I feel that those are relevant to me still. But it became increasingly apparent that I couldn't just be a bi-ace, I couldn't just be a pan-ace, that within the asexual community, and increasingly within the LGBT community at large as asexual awareness increases, romantic attraction, that romantic orientations had kind of become alarmingly normative. Dare I say that I kind of felt a parallel between society's sex normativity and the asexual community and romantic orientations. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, sex normativity is the normalization of sex and sexual attraction within society. The assumption that everyone is sexually attracted to someone, or that everyone is sexually active even. That it's normal to be sexually attracted to someone, that it's normal to be sexually active, but that it is abnormal or atypical to not be sexually attracted to anyone or to not be sexually active. Which is kind of ironic because, you know, that's something that the asexual community, that aces in general, actively want to combat or debunk because, you know, that kind of fucks us over. But it feels like within ace spaces, not all ace spaces, but some ace spaces, that has been replaced with amatonormativity. And by amatonormativity, I mean the normalization of not just romantic attraction, but romantic orientations in this case, except that we are a little bit better in that there is a way to opt out of it. There is a way to opt out of it, but only if you explicitly do so by explicitly identifying yourself as aromantic. I find it a little bit ironic that in order to opt out of that amatonormativity, you have to explicitly have a romantic orientation. And not have to, no one's making you do anything obviously, but there's still the expectation from both aro aces and non-aro aces and people in general that if you don't experience romantic attraction or that you don't experience it in some kind of normative way, you will explicitly state that with a romantic orientation. In other words, if you don't explicitly identify as aromantic on the aro spectrum, then you are seen as being romantic or allomantic. Instead of people just, you know, not making assumptions about whether you view yourself as any kind of romantic. Even if there is a prefix bi or pan there or queer. Anyway, back in 2016, I decided that I was done with the split attraction model. It had helped me, but it had served its purpose, and I just didn't want to use it for myself personally anymore. So I went on to Tumblr, Twitter, etc., updated all of my profiles to be bi-ace, pan-ace, queer, blah blah blah, except I might as well not have, because both aces and non-aces alike still see bi-ace as being biromantic ace, and people still read pan as being shorthand for panromantic just because there's ace after it. Bi is automatically coded as being a romantic orientation when used in conjunction with ace. Queer, even though it's not even explicitly anything, it's a very vague term, and I use it with that intention, when it comes before ace or with ace in some way, it is still seen as referencing a romantic orientation that I do not have. If I'm being honest, I am more than just a little bit perturbed by this dichotomy within the asexual community of being aromantic or non-aromantic, but always romantic something. Even if you identify as a lesbian ace, a gay ace, a queer ace, people still read romantic into that lesbian, romantic into that gay, romantic into that queer, just because asexual follows it or comes together with it. The real dichotomy, I guess, is not even just aromantic or non-aromantic, it's romantic and sexual. Even though the ace community has a history of talking about lots of different types of attraction, it's always romantic attraction, romantic orientation, sexual attraction, sexual orientation. That is the biggest dichotomy that is upheld within the asexual community. And I want to opt out of it, but even if I do, people don't take notice of that because they see what they want to see when they see bi-ace. They see what they want to see when they see queer ace. ace. There are assumptions being made. Society at large operates on assumptions, and I know that we, us aces, and people in general are no better, no different. We all operate on assumptions every day, but I wish that romantic attraction wasn't assumed unless explicitly denied. That normative attraction of any kind wasn't assumed unless explicitly denied. And so often I just identify as queer. It is no less accurate than queer ace, than bi ace, than the long list of terms, identities that I have. I could just say queer and it's that much simpler and not any less true. So that's what I do. I often identify as queer, queer ace, but I am a bi ace, I am a pan ace. It's just sometimes I just don't want to deal with people's assumptions. In the past on this channel, I have talked about being specific with labels because they have helped me, but now I'm kind of going in a different direction. I am enjoying vague labels, open-ended labels, labels that are no less true, but fend off some of the assumptions, or at least don't encourage some of the assumptions that people are liable to make. And that's just where I'm at right now. Thank you for listening. If you have made it this far into the video, you are amazing. I am sorry this turned out to be rather long. I mean, I'm not surprised. Who is surprised? None of you are surprised, but thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There are more videos up and coming related to this topic, related to sexuality in general. I do have to do the tea update, 2 months, but yeah, more videos related to this to come, so stay tuned. And again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. Has anyone seen Black Panther? I kind of want to do a video talking about it, but like at the same time, there's so much there to unpack and so many feelings and just, I don't know. Black Panther. Go see it if you haven't.